Hey there, welcome to the latest episode of the Sexy Thyroid Solution. I'm your host, Angela Brown. So today I want to talk all about stress and hypothyroidism. But first, if you could do me a really big favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you could go ahead and subscribe to my channel and then hit the bell so you get a notification when I release my new video every week. And if you're watching this on my other channels, go ahead and like this and share this with someone who could benefit from this information. So let's go ahead and start talking about this. I love talking about the connection between stress and hypothyroidism. I have a lot of personal experience with this myself. I could go on and on, which could be a whole nother video all about my own experience when struggling with stress and what it does to the thyroid. But I wanted to share some information with you that would help you kind of understand a little bit more of how this happens, not just that it happens, because everyone kind of knows that has hypothyroidism. They've pretty much been through it one way or another with stress. They know there's a connection there, but I want to explain why. So something to always keep in mind is that the thyroid and the adrenals, they go hand in hand. I've talked about this a ton, but whenever one is off, the other one usually tags along. It doesn't really matter which one comes first, honestly. They're both going to be affected either way. So, and I see this all the time where people don't even think about that, the stress playing a role and what their adrenals are doing to their thyroid, and vice versa for that matter. And unfortunately, it's really common to have similar symptoms with both. So that's why I always say if you're struggling with one area like your thyroid, you more than likely are struggling with your adrenals, and the other way around. It usually, like I said, it goes hand in hand. So you attack both the same fashion, the same way, because like I said, symptoms are going to be the same. Chronic stress is one of the biggest reasons why I see a lot of people with a slow thyroid that is not under control. They're taking medication. They might be doing all the other things, eating, sleep, gut health, but their stress is through the roof. And this can be one of those things where it can actually be the deal breaker, where it is the thing that's going to set their thyroid over the edge. And if they could just get their stress handled a little bit better and under control a little bit better, it could be the thing that would actually help thwart their efforts with their thyroid health further along forward. So that's why I really wanted to shed some light on this. Chronic stress will disrupt your HPA axis, that's your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. This always ends up leading to burnout. When you have this disruption of that axis, you end up essentially leading to burnout, and that basically means that the adrenals are pretty much not going to do what they're supposed to be doing. And again, it's connected to the thyroid. So what are some of the things that I see happen when it comes to this chronic stress cycle is you actually end up getting a decreased production of TSH. TSH is your thyroid stimulating hormone. You need this to actually make your thyroid hormones. If you don't have that, it's going to be pretty hard to stimulate. That's why it's called thyroid stimulating hormone. You can't make T3 and T4. So you need to have this thyroid stimulating hormone. It's released from your brain. It's not going to happen when there's chronic stress. Something else to always keep in mind as well, whenever there's chronic stress, there's usually inflammation. I see this all the time. There is some type of inflammatory cycle when you have this chronic stress over and over and over that actually leads to a decrease in sensitivity of your thyroid receptors. So you're not going to really utilize the thyroid hormone the way that you should. And something else to also consider is excess cortisol, which that's going to happen when you're under a lot of stress. You're going to release a ton of cortisol. You're supposed to release cortisol with stress. But again, if this is excess and it's chronic and it happens over and over, you're going to actually get a decrease in your thyroid hormones in T3, T4. One of the ways that you actually get a really big decrease in T3 is a lot of times that cortisol will actually cause a decrease in conversion. So you're not getting that inactive T4 over to active T3. And I've talked about this a lot. You only make 20% T3. So you have to convert T4 to T3. So it's going to be really hard to get that conversion when you're stressed out all the time. You actually revert it backwards. That's one of the markers that I do suggest to have checked on a thyroid panel is reverse T3. And that's one of the reasons why, because we want to see, are you taking that conversion that you're supposed to be taking T4 to T3 and are you reverting it backwards? And it happens very commonly with stress. So what can you do about it? There are a lot of ways that you can decrease stress. It essentially, it has to be something that works for you. I talk about this a lot as well. If you don't like meditation and you're trying to do meditation to decrease your stress, it's probably not going to work. It's got to be something that you enjoy. I love meditation. Journaling is a great way. Breath work is a really good way to decrease stress. A lot of these things you can find online. There's apps for these. They're everywhere now. But meditation, journaling, breath work is a really, really great way as well. Like I mentioned, you can do a lot of Googling with these as well. There's a ton of apps. There's YouTube videos on this where you can kind of find the thing that works for you. The other thing to also consider, I do better with meditations when they're guided. Some people don't want them guided. They want to do their own meditation. So essentially, it has to be what works for you. It's got to be whatever you find enjoyment with. If it's just getting out and going for a walk, that de-stresses you, then you need to do that. If it's playing with your pet, if you have a dog that you love on all the time and it decreases your stress, then go for it all the time. But it has to be something that is going to be relatable for you. Sleep is going to be very, very important. Making sure you're getting enough rest and downtime and sleep is going to be crucial. And then obviously, eating, and people don't like hearing that, but if you're eating really bad foods and it's a vicious cycle where you're eating bad foods over and over, it's going to create a stress response in your body. So really hone in on what you're putting in your body, what you're eating, that will actually help decrease stress and inflammation. Because like I said, when you have a lot of stress going on, you end up having a lot of inflammation as well. It creates this really bad cycle of an inflammatory response. So eating foods that are more nutritious for you and healthier and not inflammatory foods, that will help decrease that response as well. And then your mindset. It's going to be really, really big. If you're constantly thinking about how stressed out you are and you can't get out of that rut with it and cycle where all you think about is how stressed you are and how terrible life is right now and all that, it just creates a bad cycle. You stress yourself out more because you keep thinking about it. So you really have to find what is going to work for you. What is your stress management coping that's going to help you? It has to be something that works for you. I will say drastically cutting your calories and going to work out for 3 hours at a time is not the way to do it. And I see it happen all the time. I was there. I did it myself. I thought this is going to be great stress relief for me. This is going to help me lose weight and all these things by cutting my calories really low and exercising even more. And that actually backfired. It made it worse. So that is not what I suggest. I would hone in on healthy foods, but don't start cutting calories drastically. And then your exercise needs to be, within a range that's not stressing your body out. So if you are in a really stressed out state, going and hopping on cardio for an hour at a time and, doing 2 workouts a day is not a good thing. Going for a walk, doing some yoga, doing some calming meditation with it is going to be the route to go, especially in that stressed out state. So I hope this helped you. If you have more questions with this, reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. I would love to know too, what is one of your favorite stress management ways? What is your favorite thing that helps you through a stressed out state? I would love to know if you put in the comments below. And if you have any questions, like I said, reach out as well. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. I will see you in the next video. Bye.